Hey, everybody. If you've landed on this video, it's because you've come to the realization that you've got thoughts and ideas you'd like to share with the world. And not only would you like to share them with the world, you would like to be heard and you'd like people to actually take note and listen. There's some very simple ideas that I'm going to share with you today that are going to help you to kind of demystify being natural in front of a camera and being natural when you're speaking to people and being comfortable in social situations and basically just being yourself, being fully expressed. Speaking is an exchange of energy. So when you're speaking to people, you're exchanging your energy. This is an energetic exchange. This is a paradigm that's going to completely change the way that you're interfacing with people. It's going to completely change the way that you show up for your content if you're creating content. It's going to completely change the way you interface with your work, your colleagues, your bosses or employees. So we're exchanging energy here. We're not making noise with our mouth. We're exchanging energy. A lot of people get it twisted and they think, "Oh, I'm not a good speaker," or "I get nervous," or whatever. And they're misunderstanding what speaking is. So speaking is always and forever the transmission of energy. That's a really important paradigm so that you're not thinking, how do I use the right words, or what's the strategy for, there's not, the ultimate strategy is to start with the fact that this is an exchange of energy. We're exchanging energy. I'm exchanging energy with you right now. So I want to give you a quick little check-in, and this is a drill. I'm going to give you a drill right now that's going to help you to understand this. I want you to imagine a small child coming up to you, an adorable little boy or girl, and they've got a missing tooth, and they run up to you and they've got a little smudge of dirt on their cheek, and they've got their little like squeaky shoes, and they look up at you and they say, "Am I adorable?" Or they say, "Am I adorable?" Really imagine this. Imagine it. Am I cute? I want you to tune in with your body, and I want you to notice how you feel in that image. And I want you to notice, what would you say in that situation? What would you say? I would say something like, I would laugh a little bit and I would say, "Oh my God, you are the cutest thing I've ever seen. You are so cute." And then if they followed up with another question like, "What's life about?" or some kid question, some funny question, I would be like, "Well, that's a big question. Life is about X, Y, and Z." I want you to imagine how you would be talking to that child, and I want you to feel into your body of what that feels like. Notice how it feels when you're talking to a child. Now, you can feel it in your soul. You can feel it. For me, it's like a very relaxed feeling. There's not a drop of resistance in my body. There's not a drop of resistance anywhere in my diaphragm, nothing. It's just a free flow of energy. Now, I want you to imagine the way you talk to your boss. I want you to imagine your boss saying, Hey, Jill, you took an extra half hour in your lunch break yesterday. I noticed that you were gone while we were having that meeting, and I just wanted to check in and see why you didn't ask me for permission on that." I want you to notice what happens to your body, and I want you to imagine what you would say to your boss. You might say something like literally play this out and say it out loud. What would you say to your boss? You would say something like, "Oh yeah, I actually had that thing happen," and you can feel that all of a sudden you're coming up with like an explanation. You're defensive. There's a feeling of tightness across your chest. There's maybe a tightness in your core, right? There's a certain way that you're talking to your boss. When you speak to your spouse, there's also very little resistance, probably most of the time, hopefully. When you're speaking to people that you feel comfortable with, there's not much resistance here, right? The whole point of that exercise is to help you understand, first of all, on a very experiential level. Now, I hope you understand on an experiential level that this is an exchange of energy. It's an exchange of energy. And with that exchange of energy, there's a physical and non-physical component to this whole thing. You are both human and being. You're not one or the other. You're physical and non-physical tied in. So with the communication part, this is both physical and non-physical. We are interfacing on a physical and non-physical level every time we speak. Okay. This is very important to understand so that you're not worried about the superficial things like how to project and maybe how to speak, how to hold your shoulders and all that stuff. We'll get into here in the video also. But we have to start with the training ground of the fact that this is an energetic exchange. You're a human and a being, and speaking is an art form that ties both of those together. And it doesn't matter if it's to a camera or to a human being. And that leads me to the next part. So when we speak to a camera or a human being, when we're speaking just in general, we're doing an energetic dance with life. Life as a concept, but life is something so much more. We're dancing with ourselves, and we're simultaneously dancing with all of life. When we're speaking, we are again interfacing as a human and a being. So we're actually dancing with this energy. It's an energetic dance. It's an energetic process. And so a lot of us have very little resistance to speaking with confidence to the people that are closest to us. But then a lot of us, once we get out into the idea of speaking on a stage format, speaking into a camera, speaking to a group of people, speaking at a party, we get into this freeze up mode. Oh no. Now that all of a sudden the exchange of energy is clogged up and we shut ourselves off. And why is that? Uh-oh, a camera's turned on. Uh-oh, people I don't know are here. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, uh-oh, uh-oh. So the first level of this uh-oh that I'm going to address right here, the first block, are they going to like me? Are they going to like me? Am I going to be liked? Are they going to like me is simultaneously the most self-defeating and self-sabotaging thought that any human being can have. And I want to help to brainwash you to completely abandon, are they going to like me today? Because there's nothing that will set you free faster than letting go of, are they going to like me? There's also nothing that will help you to do your deep work in this world and to help those you're meant to help in this world than letting go of, are they going to like me? When you abandon, are they going to like me? You step into a whole nother level of this life, of this game called life. It's a whole nother level. You level up, do-do-doop, do-do-doop, do-do-doop. This isn't about showing up and like making noise. This is about your energetic freedom of expression. So letting go of, will they like me, is step one, part one. You have to let go of, will they like me? Will I be liked? And then you have to step into, I've said this before and I'll say it again, who can I help and how can I serve? And or how can I make the situation better? And or how can I connect with this person? Right? Do you see how if you stop putting the spotlight on yourself and you push it out into the world, takes the pressure all the way off. All the way off. So if you're going to make YouTube videos, don't worry about, are they going to like me? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about being liked. Worry about, who can I help and how can I serve? Who can I help and how can I serve? Who can I help and how can I serve? This isn't a popularity contest. Life is not one big popularity contest. One of the greatest gifts I got from my spiritual awakening was the complete freedom of having to worry about if somebody likes me or not, and moving all the way into, who can I help and how can I serve? When you stop worrying about being liked, it's going to elevate your speaking skills by default. I'm going to get into techniques, I promise you, but we have to start with these paradigms, because if we don't get these paradigms very fleshed out, it doesn't matter all the techniques in the world. Not going to make a bit of difference. They'll make a little bit of a difference, but not really. But if you embrace fully just not giving a flying expletive, if you're liked or not, and you focus 100% on who can I help and how can I serve and who can I connect with and how can I make the situation better, you are set free. I'm going to read a little something to you from one of my favorite poets, Mary Oliver. And this poem is called When Death Comes. I'm reading this to you because death is coming for all of us. It sounds morbid, but it's true. We only get a snippet of time on this planet. And you, my friend, are doing an energetic dance with life. And I really want you by the end of this video to be so ready to just fully open your arms to all of it and just really let it rip and get your voice out into the world. When death comes, like the hungry bear in autumn, when death comes and takes all the bright coins from his purse to buy me and snaps the purse shut, when death comes, like the measles pox, when death comes, like an iceberg between the shoulder blades, I want to step through the door full of curiosity, wondering what is it going to be like, that cottage of darkness. And therefore, I look upon everything as a brotherhood and a sisterhood, and I look upon time as no more than an idea. And I consider eternity as another possibility. And I think of each life as a flower, as common, and as a field daisy as singular. And each name a comfortable music in the mouth, tending as all music does towards silence. And each body a lion of courage and something precious to the earth. When it's over, I want to say, all my life, I was a bride married to amazement. I was the bridegroom taking the world into my arms. When it's over, I don't want to wonder if I have made of my life something particular and real. I don't want to find myself sighing and frightened or full of argument. I don't want to end up simply having visited this world. So, my friends, when death comes, which is a morbid idea, I know for some, but when death comes, for me, I will rejoice at having not a shred of doubt that I did not let fear of what people thought of me influence a single second of my life. Freedom, my friends, that's freedom. And that's what this is all about, is what when death comes, to have wrung out every drop of who you are out into this planet and brick by brick, word by word, little by little, message by message, video by video, whatever your modality is, song by song, brushstroke by brushstroke, music note by music note, whatever it is, business idea by business idea, dollar by dollar, to be fully expressed in this world. It's all the same thing. Speaking is just an energetic exchange. Okay, so let me give you a couple techniques. I'm going to give you a couple techniques right now for being in front of a camera, because that's important in 2024. But this also applies to being in front of people and speaking to people in a way that actually connects and makes your stuff it makes your message dynamic and all of it. So a lot of people, like I said, it's a dance. When you're speaking to your kid, or when you're speaking to your spouse, or when you're speaking to your boss, there's a dance happening. And so the tricky thing about a camera is it seems like there's nobody to dance with. And so people put on like a camera voice, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, being in front of a camera freaks a lot of people out because, one, again, they're worried about they turn the camera on and they're imagining an audience on the other side. They're imagining some invisible audience. And it's kind of a conceptual thing. So they've turned the camera on, and the whole thing, this energetic exchange, has turned into a conceptual social media game where they're not able to connect with their message and they're not able to connect with the audience. So another thing that we need to do if we're going to be effective communicators is find our voice. Find your voice. Find your voice within. I'm not talking about your speaking voice. I'm talking about your inner voice, finding that true aspect of you. You are not going to struggle to speak when you have an access to that inner voice. So the better way to put this is not even finding your inner voice. It's accessing your inner voice, your true voice. To access your true voice, not find it. That's a little correction I'm going to make. Is just a matter of getting rid of and ignoring anything that's not your true voice. So that's, again, the fear, the what are they going to think, the the nervous energy, all that stuff. It's just the superficial layers, but there's something deep down in you that wants to be seen and heard that transcends the small little ripples on the surface. So your true voice, your authentic voice, finding that voice requires that you every day you tap into writing and or voice memos and or quiet walks and or exploring what you think and or exploring your direct experiential knowing, meaning you get to know yourself. So a lot of people don't take the time to get to know themselves on a deep level. You're going to be dating yourself. And really, like, I mean it, like, date yourself, marry yourself, take yourself on dates, take yourself on hiking dates, take yourself to library dates, take yourself to literal go out to dinner and just eat dinner, go to Chipotle. I know, blasphemy. Go to Chipotle after you go to Home Goods. There's usually a Chipotle like right by a Home Goods. So go to Home Goods, take yourself on a cool little date at Home Goods, and then go to Chipotle afterwards. But seriously, take yourself on dates so you can access your inner voice. When you access your inner voice, that gives you this beautiful instrument wherein you can, at any given moment, it doesn't matter if you're speaking to a camera or speaking to another human being, your inner voice it's infallible. There's absolutely nothing to fear when you're speaking from your true voice, when you're speaking from your truth, when you're accessing your truth. Once we've accessed that voice, we're going to actually utilize it in a camera setting, in a camera situation. We're talking about cameras now. So if you got a camera sitting in front of you, now you've got access to that true voice. And the way that we use that in front of a camera is no different than the way that we use it when we're speaking to other people. So I want to just let you know that right now, I'm not sitting here talking to a camera. I'm talking to you. I'm talking to a human being. I'm not, also, side note, I'm not talking to YouTube. I'm not talking to Instagram. I'm not talking to an audience. I'm not talking to social media. I'm talking to you. When you're exchanging energy with a human being and you're actually speaking, communicating an idea, it seems like when you're doing that with a person here, that you're doing it just with a person here. But what's actually happening is all of this is non-local. The communication of ideas is an exchange of consciousness to consciousness, and it's not local. So again, I said all human beings are intuitive, and I would like to give you access to what I'm talking about right now. There is a viscosity and a tangibility to what I'm talking about that you can experience right now as you're hearing me speak. Consciousness has a viscosity to it. There's a pulsation to it. There's an aliveness to it. It's eternal. And in your quiet moments, if you would just sit back and just watch the trees during sunset, there is an aliveness to it. That same aliveness is always and ever present. And when we're speaking, when we're communicating ideas, when we're exchanging energy, that same energetic exchange that you're getting from the trees that are communicating to you at sunset, they are communicating to you, just not with words. You are also communicating when you're exchanging your energy on a non-local level, whether you're speaking to a person who's in front of you or you're speaking to a camera. So the key is you literally tap into feeling that now. Another way to say this is you become here, fully present now. Don't leave the present moment. You're here now, now. It's always now. You're here now. And when you're here now, you have unlimited, untapped potential to access that consciousness, that eternal conscious ether. We exchange energy with that. So you're actually speaking to the eternal. Just like you're speaking to the eternal when you're speaking to a human being who's sitting right here, you're also speaking to the eternal when you're speaking to a camera. It's just kind of the thing that trips us up is we turn it into a conceptual thing. We turn it into, I'm speaking to a camera. You're actually speaking to another human being, and you're speaking, more emphasis on the being, you're speaking to a being. And more importantly than that, you're expressing energy. You're expressing energy. So when a camera comes on, I want you to, if it helps, imagine a beloved, loved one your favorite best friend of all time. Imagine even yourself. Imagine speaking to yourself. And here's what I'm going to offer. Here's one really powerful way to get this working is you imagine that your friend, have you seen the movie Interstellar? Have you seen the movie Interstellar, everybody? There's a scene where Matthew McConaughey is watching a video from his daughter she's transmitting messages to him. He's watching his family's messages to him because he's out in outer space on a whole different timeline. Anyway, these voice memos are a really great example of how to film videos because I want you to imagine that your friend is somewhere off in outer space and they need to hear your message. And you're just basically delivering a little telegram to a best friend. You're not delivering a message or a telegram to an audience. You're not delivering a message or a telegram to social media. You're talking to one best friend, one person. That's it. And you're just like how this is more or less how I would speak to you if you were sitting here in front of me. I mean, there would be more of an exchange. I wouldn't be talking at you so much, but this is how I would be speaking normally. And as you can see, there's like a feeling and an experience where it feels almost like I'm there with you. And that's exactly what happens when you're speaking again with that exchange of energy, with that presence. You don't have to worry about how to get this right. You don't have to worry about being a good speaker. You just already are a good speaker. It just takes a little bit of stepping into what I was just talking about today. You have to energetically just deliver the way that you do with your family and your friends. Let me just do a lightning round of some other techniques really quick that are going to help you to deliver effectively for your message. These are like literal techniques that really do help. They're not as conceptual because I can kind of hear you through the camera. I can hear you right now saying, yeah, all of this is great, but like, how do I do it? So literally how you do it is, first of all, you're not speaking to a camera. So you're basically just speaking to a friend. Like I said, I kind of belabored that point. And now you're going to read and write a lot of things all the time. You're going to read, you're going to write, you're going to read, you're going to write. This gives you a toolbox of vocabulary that you're not going to be dropping these $100 words on a regular basis, but they're just in your mind and you have them at your disposal. If you want to use that tool, you have it at your disposal. Reading and writing helps you to think more clearly so that you can put together cohesive sentences and so that you deliver clear messages. Also, practice. I am talking to myself out loud all the time. If I have an idea that I'd like to deliver on, I speak about it out loud. I'll literally work through my ideas out loud at the stove while I'm cooking. I'll say, okay, so here's the thing. And then I'll go through the whole thing. Point 1, here's what I want to talk about. Point 2, here's what I want to talk about. And I run through it, practice it all the time. While I'm blow drying my hair, I'm practicing speaking. While I'm in the shower, I'm practicing the talking points. So practice speaking out loud all the time. This is going to help you a great deal. Talking to yourself is also very, very comforting and it's very fun. I've always loved talking to myself. And when I do it, it brings me a sense of comfort. And I'm like my own best friend. I've got like a secret best friend and it's me. And then the last thing I want to let you know about speaking effectively is you don't have to hesitate. Just like you can hear sometimes there's a pause in here, but I'm not second guessing myself because again, I've accessed the true voice, my true inner voice. And when you access your true inner voice, I just let it rip. There's no hesitation. I'm not wondering if what I'm about to say is going to be the right thing. I'm not wondering about anything. I'm just letting I'm in integrity. I'm clear about who and what I am. That's all you need to do is you speak with an intention of, I'm just going to speak clearly today and I'm going to do the best that I can to help anybody who's listening. So I just let it rip. I don't second guess what I'm about to say. I just say what's on my mind and I say what I mean and I mean what I say. Let your wings fly, my friend. Let your wings fly. And if you want to learn how exactly to monetize on YouTube and start making a living with all of this stuff, you're definitely going to want to check out this video where I talk about exactly the exact steps, 15 years of experience of how to turn the online business, YouTube, and content creation into a 6-figure business.